Hey guys, Chronically Spaced here, and today I'm here to talk to you about this guy, Taka. So, for those of you who don't know, this is Hotaka, that's his full name, and he is a Pygmalion doll chin head on a ring doll type 4-body? He's on a ring doll body, I don't remember. It's like the big boy body, like the 70 centimeter body. It's very muscly. He's pretty sturdy, but yes, so that is him. And I guess today I'm just gonna kind of talk to you a little bit about his character and, you know, who he is. He is probably one of the characters I've been writing the longest, at least 10 years now, maybe 11, I can't remember exactly, maybe even 12. I don't think I started writing him in 06, but maybe I did. Actually think I may have started writing him before I went to college, so you know, it's been between 10 to 13 years, so he's been around a while. He's had a few different iterations, but I'm gonna talk about the most recent one, which I think is probably like his permanent version. So yeah, let's get into it. Taka is 25 years old. He lives in Tokyo, Japan, and he is a Japanese idol. It was always Taka's dream to become an idol. Maybe not necessarily an idol. He wanted to become a musician, and he likes pop music, so that was kind of the logical choice for him. And as far as in the story, it's only been within like the last year or so within the story, like within the timeline of the story, that he has been signed to a label and started making music. And then it's like maybe like the past 6 months or something that he's really taken off and started getting like famous. He's not like massive, but he got his first big hit on the radio and he's starting to get recognized a lot more, hence his incognito dress. So he's got his little hat, he's got his little fake glasses, he's got his little mask that I'm not gonna pull up. His boss would probably just roll his eyes like, you dyed your hair, you know, pink. If you have rainbow colored hair, you're probably gonna stick out like a sore thumb, especially since Taka's also extremely tall. He doesn't always use his brain. Personality wise, he's very bouncy. He is really optimistic most of the time. He's a fun person to be around, I think. He likes to have a good time. He likes to make jokes. He likes to laugh. He can be a little catty sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't necessarily realize when his comments go too far, or he does realize it and he doesn't have very good self-control. But he is usually pretty upbeat and just like a fun dude to be around. So in the current point where Jay and I are in the story, he's just gotten out of an abusive relationship, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of like he's starting his life completely over. He's just moved to a new place, sort of like where his ex-abuser, where he can't find him, and he's just kind of trying to navigate life as a single person again, because he was in that relationship for several years. I don't want to look it up right now, but maybe like 4 years, something like that. Since he was pretty young. He's still pretty young, I say. Like, I'm not 31 years old. Anyway, but yeah, so he's dealing with that. He doesn't have the best past. He had a difficult relationship with his family, and we will leave it at that because it's gonna take way too long to go into it. But basically, he had a falling out, so his family's not really in the picture anymore, and he has been kind of like he and his best friend Kenji against the world. Kenji is Jay's character. It's kind of been them against the world since, I mean, honestly, since the time they met when they were in like kindergarten. So Kenji's like his family, and it's really cute. But they always have each other's backs. They're always there for each other. He's super into dancing. That's like his #1 thing, even more than like singing. He loves dancing. He likes all kinds of dancing. I think when I first made him up, he was very like heavy into tap dancing, because Happy Feet had just come out and I like got obsessed with the guy who did the motion capture for that movie. I mean, he probably dabbles in most styles of dance now, but I think he's become really interested in like hip hop style, kind of stuff you would see like in, I don't know, like if you know BTS, like a BTS video, I don't know. I suck at dancing, so I'm not good at explaining this. But yeah, he got really into it when he was a little kid. One of his nannies actually showed him, she was an exchange student, and she showed him Singing in the Rain, and he became obsessed with like old musicals. He loves Gene Kelly, like he's just really into the whole like spectacle of musicals. And I think like he kind of wants to get into like performing on stage, like doing stage plays and musicals. I don't know. I'm sure that he will probably get into that at some point. What else? So because I'm a mentally ill person who projects all of my mental illnesses onto my characters, he of course suffers from mental illness, but I try to do it in a healthy way. So he has bipolar disorder, and it's something he's been dealing with for pretty much his whole life. Mental illness runs in his family. His mom was mentally ill, and she was treated, but it wasn't really in a very good way. So he kind of, for a long time, had a bad opinion of getting treatment, but in the story he is currently being treated. He's going to a therapist, he's medicated, he does have his low points, but overall he's doing pretty well. So there's that. I actually want to make a prompt video at some point and talk about kind of like how as writers we put pieces of ourselves into our characters and kind of what you think you do, but I'm gonna make a separate video on that because I think it deserves its own video. I didn't really plan this video out very well, in case you couldn't tell, because I am just rambling. So, one thing about Taka's past is that after his falling out with his family, he actually started working at a host club, which if you don't know what that is, in Japan they have these things called hostess and host clubs, and I'm sure they have them outside of Japan as well, but basically it's places you go where you get sort of, you pay to get attention, kind of, from like good looking dudes or chicks. Like hostess club typically caters to men and it's like pretty women, and then host clubs are the opposite. There's actually a really interesting documentary I watched one time about a club in Osaka, and I don't remember, was it in Osaka? I think so. I don't remember if it's still on Netflix, but talks a lot about the toxic environment where, you know, you're drinking like 24/7, and you know, like dudes who work there getting cirrhosis like at super young ages just because of the amount of alcohol they're taking in. And I think for Taka it was kind of damaging for him. I mean, I think kind of is not strong enough word. It was really damaging to his view of himself, like, because when people are paying to spend time with you or paying, you know, for the pleasure of your company, you kind of start to see yourself as something like as a commodity. You're something that's for sale. You're not really a person. You're an object. So that's something he still deals with even in the present day. It's really hard for him. Like, he's obviously working on this in therapy as well, but it's hard for him to see his value as a person when he's not really doing something for someone, or someone's not. It's hard for him to get away from that mindset of a relationship is an exchange where like you give me something so I will give you something back, rather than being like, you know, a relationship is something that I'm in because I value myself as a person and somebody else values me as a person as well, and I value that person for who they are. He's always had, you know, a very good relationship with Kenji. That's probably the main thing that keeps him grounded. What else can I talk about with Taka? So kind of how he relates to other dollies that we have. Jay's doll, Aki, who's her Ipple House Storm. He's Taka's boss at the label. Like, he owns the record label, so he's kind of like the big head honcho. Take, my Kobe doll Yeonho, he's Taka's producer, so he produces all his music. He writes a lot of it right now. He's kind of pushing Taka toward writing his own music. So my Let's Super Senior Del Flood, they're kind of like distant friends right now. So and Taka's friend Kenji met first, and we're kind of like, I can't really think of an appropriate way to say it. They're like friends with benefits. Yeah, there we go. Kenji and So were like friends with benefits, and So's kind of become friends with Taka through that avenue. And then obviously Jay's Nigido Siho, whatever, that she just recently got is eventually going to be in a romantic relationship with Taka. In the current part we are at in the story, they are not yet an item. But they obviously like really are into each other, so that's a thing. I think that's it for that. I don't know what else I was going to talk about with him. But yeah, I guess that's all I can think of right now. There's obviously a lot just because I've been writing him for so long, but he's a really cool character. I like him a lot. He's probably the character that is least like me, just because he's such an outgoing, very extroverted kind of dude. He really likes to be around other people. He's really not good at being by himself, so that's pretty much the polar opposite of me. He's really fun to write for that reason, because you know, it's like cool to get out of your own head and like embody somebody else for a bit. Which is why I like writing, actually. That sounded depressing. No, it's just fun to like look at the world from a new perspective is what I meant. Not being self-deprecating, I promise. But yeah, I feel like this video's gotten really long. It stopped recording at one point and I had to start over again, so I should probably call it good. That's Taka. I finally made this video after saying I was gonna make it a whole bunch. I'm still trying to find a good setup for making videos. I'm not like super happy with the lighting in this area, but it's a little better. So I'll keep messing with it. Eventually I'll find something I like, but for now, we're gonna call it good. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!